Hello DIYers, welcome back. Today we are taking you through the entire process, start to finish, of how we built out our affordable fall garden. Good morning DIYers, welcome back. It is a very big day here. We are building our garden for a fall harvest. We were pretty shocked to find out about the expense of some things. You know, we originally had planned on doing nice raised garden beds, which are really popular, only to find out that they would cost about $300 to build and $400 to $500 to fill with quality soil. So we are building into the ground, but we are still using good quality soil, and we are going to do our best to kind of customize it and create a situation where it's protected from weeds and other areas of the yard that are treated for weeds, and keep it as clean and healthy as possible. So we've been prepping for this for a very long time. We have a bunch of seeds that have been growing upstairs under grow lights, and I'm so excited to finally get this done. We are creating a 12 by 14 foot garden space filled with 3 2x8 beds. So to get our process started, we are measuring out our 12 by 14 foot space, and we are using our galvanized steel fence T-post to mark out each corner. And once we have that all measured and our T-posts installed, we are digging out our borders. Oh my gosh, sweating to death. Running into a bit of a problem. I have here a spading fork, which was what was recommended to us by the gardening center that we went to start this project. The problem is, I'm not sure if you can see that, but this is just completely twisted and bent up, and it just continues to twist and get bent further, and I am literally to a point where I cannot even, getting chased by a bee, It's fine, we're cool. Don't mind the toilet in the background. We're getting a dumpster soon. This might be a job for shovels. I don't know if the spading fork, maybe we just got a cheap one, I don't know. But I think we're gonna have to pause here and go get another shovel. Nicholas here. He's gonna be stuck doing all the work. Looks like it's going really well for him. What are you doing? Nick? Nick? What's going on over there?
Weird bug. I'm glad you were filming me for that weird bug that was just like roaming around.
Great. After both our spading fork and our really cheap $10 wooden handled shovel failed on us, I ran to the hardware store and I came back with 2 fiberglass and steel shovels specifically designed for digging, and man, oh man, did this make such a difference. I cannot recommend enough to just start with high quality steel and fiberglass shovels. These ones also have a much stronger top that you can step on and really get into the soil, which is so essential for pulling up sod. This is tremendously laborious work, so please just take it from us. Do not go cheap with your digging shovels here. And from here on out, we are basically just digging and pulling up sod. You can see us stopping and kind of knocking around the bottom of the sod. We were trying to save as much of the soil and as many of the earthworms as possible, because those are really, really important for healthy soil, and we didn't want to throw them in a wheelbarrow and dump them in a corner of the yard. And finally, after 2 straight days of digging up sod, we finally have our 12 by 14 foot space clear and ready for us to start building out our garden beds. For digging out our beds, the process is pretty much more of the same. We're measuring out our 2 foot by 8 foot rectangles using just sticks we found in the yard to mark each corner. And we are also using the spading fork to kind of break up the soil as we go. This will make it much easier to actually dig out the 4 to 6 inches that we need cleared to refill with the really high quality soil and compost that will make our growing much more successful. We are also leaving 2 feet of path along the border of the garden beds and also in between each row. We need that accessibility so that we can weed, so that we can plant our seeds and we can harvest and have each and every single plant easily within reach. As we're digging out the garden beds, we are just filling the surrounding rows with the soil and just kind of stomping around every so often to compact that soil and keep it from falling back into the beds. This will also serve later down the line as the foundation for our pathways that we're going to create. So for us, it's really, really important that this is nice and sturdy and even. All right, we're
Do I
on.
have dirt on my face or anything?
No, just a ton of sweat.
Oh, just a ton of sweat. I have just a ton of sweat on my face. Okay guys, so we just got done digging these shallow graves, as you can see behind us. So what I'm gonna do now is take this spading fork, the bent spading fork as we've seen before, and kind of break up the soil in each of the beds so we can add our soil and compost mixture that we purchased to this soil, kind of mix it all around so that the roots that we plant can kind of take root in a much fluffier soil so they're not biting through kind of compacted soil. So Madison's gonna go grab the compost and soil with the wheelbarrow that has a bad wheel / flat wheel. My bad, sorry girl. And I'm gonna take this thing and get to work.
Depending on where you live, this process is going to vary for you, but for us, it was really intensive. Our soil is a combination of clay and silt, and once you get 6 inches down into the soil, it's basically just rock, and it is very, very difficult to break up, and it was definitely physically intensive, but it's so, so important. Imagine if you have a difficult time getting a spading fork through and fluffing up the soil, how difficult it's going to be for roots to continue to grow down into the ground when you have a layer of rock underneath all of your soil. To bring in all of our fresh soil, we just laid them evenly into our garden beds and we cut out a big X from corner to corner, which allowed us to really just kind of pull the plastic up from underneath very easily and with very minimal effort. And once all of our soil and compost was inside, just once again, we went back in through with the spading fork to really mix that all together and make it a nice, fluffy, aerated space for the roots to grow and expand, and also to improve the quality of the drainage.
3, 2, 1. I think that was good.
Once your garden beds are complete and filled with your soil and your compost, go ahead and give it a water. This will just kind of bring it back to life and revive it so that it is ready for planting. It's planting day. We have been growing some seed cells inside for the last 2 weeks. I do want to tell you guys that I really messed up here. I put way too many seeds inside each cell, and we are not sure what, if any of these are going to survive. We also have more seeds. So we're going to transplant the ones that we've been growing, and we're going to also plant some fresh seeds that we're sowing just directly into the ground. And we'll see if we come out with food on the other side of this.
Let's hope.
Sure hope so. We were really starting from scratch here. So we purchased all of our seeds from a company called Botanical Interests, and they are incredible. I cannot recommend it enough. It gives you all of the information about planting right on the packet. It tells you how many seeds to put in a mound, how many mounds can go in a row, the spacing between the rows. We were also taking notes along the way of what we were planting and in what order. We just drew out a little sketch of our garden and kept track of what was planted where as we were going along. And once again, once all of your seeds are sown, go ahead and give it a fresh water and simply continue to water every morning. All right, you guys, that is everything. It's definitely a ton of work. It's a huge investment, but to start, you really just need ground and seeds. Over time, we have some future plans to beautify this a little better and just make it a little bit more magical and kind of a statement part of the yard. We definitely just needed to keep the critters out right away. We have armadillos, we have rabbits, we have moles and bulls and chipmunks and anything that you can think of that would want to break into your garden and eat all of your food, we have. So this is definitely a cheap option, but this is doing its job. So over time, we would definitely love to either replace or reconfigure this, maybe just put in some wood framing so it's a little nicer. We are going to create some pathways, which you can see we've already dug out for that. We're going to be doing a reclaimed wood and pea gravel pathways all along the garden to help suppress the weeds and also just make a really comfortable, easy place for us to get in and harvest and weed. And of course, I'm sure you saw over here, this big piece of plywood drilled to some old fence posts. We are going to create a really beautiful garden gate that will latch closed. And again, add some extra security, keep all of the rodents out, but also make this just a really beautiful part of the yard that when you walk in and you see this garden, it's just a statement. So be sure to follow along as we continue to develop this garden, but all you need is a place to grow your food. And this absolutely gets that done in a really affordable way with just a couple days of back-breaking digging. Follow us on Building Home Blog on Instagram if you want to watch our stories and see what we're up to on more of a day-to-day basis in real time. Be sure to like this video if you do in fact like the content, subscribe so you can see all future content, and we will see you next time.